What's up, all you motorcycle enthusiasts, and welcome to the V-Twin Life here on YouTube. We talk motorcycles powered by those V-Twins, what fuels their passion, why you enjoy it so much. V-Twin Life is brought to you by these two great companies, Crash Inc. Clothing and Wild Ass Seats. Hey, you want to add some comfort to your ass when you're out riding, whether you're a 400-mile guy, or maybe a guy that's pushing 1,000 plus, or female rider for that matter? Hey, check out wild-ass.com and add some comfort to your ass. Can't forget Crashing Clothing, that Northwest brand out of the Pacific Northwest. Hey, these guys got a lot of great stuff, from t-shirts to hats, raincoats, you name it. Hey, they can get you covered. Check out crashingclothing.com. Now, let's dive into another milepost of the V-Twin Life. Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another milepost of the V-Twin Life. It's a beautiful Sunday up here in the Northwest. We got a good one. We got Dave Pribula, owner and founder of Custom Dynamics. I mean, I think it's fair to say leads the aftermarket world when it comes to lighting for your bikes. And guy enjoys riding, has some great products. So why not get Dave on the show and hear, kind of his story and hear about what they have to offer and their products and everything they got going on. So, Dave, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us for a Milepost 71.
Thanks, Denver. Glad to be back on the show.
Yeah, you were part of here when we did the Veterans Memorial for Leo. You came on and, shared a story about Leo, which was super cool and was awesome to, do that one and, kind of how you got going on here.
Yeah. That it seems like it was just the other day, but that was actually a little while back.
That was very true. It's crazy how time flies. So I guess we kind of dive into this, I like to start kind of here where people got into, motorcycle. Where'd the bug coming to you, life for you?
Yeah, so, for me, back when I was probably 7, 8 years old, got a bike, a little Honda 50. That's where I started riding. Just fell in love with riding back then. Used to have a lot of, trails out in the woods and things around my house, things that we don't have a lot of these days in most areas. I know where I live now, it's hard to go just hop on your bike and go out and ride in the woods and stuff with all the neighborhoods and things. But back when I was a kid, that's kind of what we did. We'd get home from school and we'd hop on our bikes and we'd go ride just in our neighborhoods, because we had a lot of trails and things. And that's how I got into riding. That's how I kind of found my passion for motorcycles.
That's kind of very similar how I started. It is very true what you said. I can remember being young where it wasn't hard to just, go from your house and go up and ride on some of these trails and whatnot. But now you look at some of those places, for me where I live over here, it's housing developments now. A lot of the trails and places that we used to enjoy so much are people's backyards, literally.
Yeah, absolutely. I grew up in upstate New York. We're down here in the Raleigh-Durham area of North Carolina. But, the last time I was back up in New York and back in my old neighborhood where we used to go and have all these trails and go ride, I didn't even recognize it. It's just, housing development after housing development and stuff. And, I used to, I looked, I'm like, wow, had such great times out here with my buddies and riding and, just so much fun and the crazy things that we would do, setting up courses and, racing each other and making jumps and, just the things you would do as kids. And up in New York, we had winters up there, and we don't have much for that down here in North Carolina, but, we do crazy things up there in the winter in the snow, go out riding and pulling each other around in sleds and things on our bikes and, just fun things as kids.
Yeah, very true. I can remember, you built some of those cool trails, little jumps. You just thought you were, I can remember that time for me, like, Jeff Stanton or Jeremy McGrath or Ricky Johnson, those guys were supercross. Look at them, you build little tracks and just, thinking that you could compete with them at that age when you couldn't, but you sure felt like you could.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. Gave you something to look forward to in school and stuff. And you get out of school and get home, and you'd all go meet there at a certain spot, and that's what you would do every day after school.
Yeah, very true. I was fortunate, like my parents had a little bit of property, so we had trails built around our place, but kind of take a few to get some other places, and yeah, the memories, the good old days.
Absolutely. But yeah, that's how I got started. And and then just, as I grew older and stuff, got my first street bike, and just always had a passion for riding, and always had a kind of a passion for just working on the bikes too. Back then didn't have a lot of money. If the bike broke, you'd fix it. It wasn't taking it in to anywhere. We'd rebuild our engines ourselves and do all of our wrenching ourselves on the bikes. And I think that's kind of how I got into this later on in life, is because I had that passion for riding, and I always had that kind of that mechanical passion too. So as I got older and I went to college, I became an electrical engineer, and then started my career off at IBM, and then from IBM went to Philips Electronics, but never set out to make a company to have custom dynamics. Really kind of just stumbled onto this. It was just really tinkering around one day, and just playing with my bike, and playing around with some technologies, with some lights, but there was no master plan. I didn't have a business plan. Came home and write up a business plan. Let's make custom dynamics. It didn't happen like that.
That's it's neat to you hear the story. Kind of you enjoyed the mechanics. Enjoyed riding and whatnot. You had to dive into stuff. You wanted to fix things, do stuff, and then out of something you enjoy, whether turning wrenches, figuring what what makes this internal combustion engine work, and you got the engineering background behind you, and then you kind of start playing with. Now, was your first, when you got into this, your first stuff, was it LEDs that you were playing with when you first started making lights, say just for your own bike when you're playing with things?
Yeah, so actually, the way I kind of got into it was I went to Myrtle Beach Bike Week, and had some LEDs put on my bike, and back then, 20 years ago, this was back in 2002, this was just decorative LEDs, just the LED accent lights that we're all still familiar with. And I came back home and I said, these look great, but I wanted to get some more put on, and started looking around to, because I wanted to do it myself, how to add more lights to it, and couldn't really find any lights to do this. So started doing some Google searches on where to find some lights, and I ordered a few lights, and they came in, got the right color, and they came in with little 4-inch leads on it, and I'm like, well, that's not going to really work too well for me. But it was that experience of looking for those lights and how to add those lights onto my existing lights that was really the start of custom dynamics. It was that experience and trying to find those and going through all that hassle of what it took to add to that the idea of custom dynamics came from.
It's funny to hear you say that, because when my dad got, my Road Glide I have now, he bought it brand new in 2004, went down to Hot August Nights in Reno, and actually the lights are still on it. He had some of the, how it all started, the accent LED lights, which were put on by Dr. Neon, and they're actually still on. There's a couple under each side of gas tank, one up in the horn housing, one behind the intake. But those original ones that Dr. Neon put on there, almost 20 years ago, are still on the bike.
Wow.
Just the original little blue ones. I mean, it's like, what are they, 3 LEDs in each little pod, but they've, still stuck on there, and they've always been on, adds a little accent at night. I mean, like I said, how technology's grown. Of course, nowadays they're 10 times as bright, but it's, kind of funny how how it got started for you is kind of how the first little bit of LED, my dad stumbled across the same thing and had a few put on his bike because he thought it would look cool.
Yep. Yeah, I remember Doc Neon, and I remember, kind of what he was famous for were the, the neon tubes that would go into your coil system, on your spark plugs, wires and stuff, and he would have all these different designs and stuff that would basically light up as your ignition system fired. But that's that was kind of big 20 some years ago and stuff, and he was one of the originators back then too of the neon tubes. along with No Magic Neon. No Magic Neon was a company that we worked with closely way back 20 some years ago. But yeah, the neon tubes were big back in the day.
I especially remember, I mean, the whole like lowrider craze. There'd be, the neons. They put where they'd even add the mirrors underneath, so you could really intensify the light, and they did look pretty cool. I admit, it was pretty awesome back in the day. But yeah, it's crazy how technology has came along. Just in 20 years, in a way, seems like a long time, but in other ways, it's not that long. How much things have evolved and changed and really grown.
Yep, there goes my overhead light. I'm not moving much. That's we got everything on motion detectors. But yeah, you think about putting glass tubes on whether it was your motorcycle or whether it was on your hot rod and stuff, and how fragile those were and stuff. And we rode around with these glass tubes on our vehicles, and kind of look back at that now and think that was kind of crazy that we had these glass tubes on our vehicles that one little rock or something, and it was done.
Yeah, well, it doesn't take much to break those, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So do you remember what the first piece was that you guys came out with that got custom dynamics, I guess in a way you could say, on the map, that really got going for you guys?
Well, so the first thing we came out with was just LED accent lights. So what I did was I made some kits, and I made a complete kit for decorative lighting, and we did good there, and that got us going. But I think the what really put us on the map, what everyone knows custom dynamics for, that was our first big home run, was our amber white turn signal. So when we came out with that was what really exploded custom dynamics. So what happened there was we had gone to SEMA, and this was, I don't know how many years ago now, probably 10 maybe. And we had started to see DRLs and turn signals on vehicles at SEMA, and this was before they'd become popular on cars. And looking at these integrated turn signals, DRLs on the vehicles, kind of the light bulb literally went off and said, wow, what would that do on a motorcycle, right? What would that do to the frontal visibility on a motorcycle if we had a white DRL integrated with a turn signal? So we came back home from SEMA with this concept of making a, what we called a dynamic ring, a white circle with an amber turn signal built into it. And we set off working on that. And when we came out with that, I don't even know how many years ago now, like I said, it's probably been 10, that really exploded custom dynamics. And, now you see those turn signals everywhere on the road. Everyone has them now. That's probably the most copied product that we have. But it put us on the map. I mean, it is the most popular, probably aftermarket product, and now it's not even aftermarket. Harley Davidson sells them. You see them. Indian sells them. But that idea that we came home with from SEMA, I think is what really made custom dynamics.
That's cool. I know my dad's recently bought a set. I think those are the ones he had, they're all white, and then they go amber when you turn on your turn signals, almost like driving lights, and then they go amber when you turn on your turn signals. They look sharp.
Yep. So we have a couple versions of them now. The original version was the white ring and then amber, and now we have a version that's all white and then turns amber. But same concept, to have something white that gives you more visibility, and then still have your amber turn signal. And again, that concept actually came from the automotive world, and it actually came from SEMA. We saw that on some concept cars.
And anything for more lighting or more, visibility, especially, I have some friends, that have your turn signals and whatnot, and, you look at the turn signals, the brake lights, whatnot you guys make are so bright that when it comes to motorcycles, I think anything you can have, especially more lighting or, your accent lights you guys make for the saddlebag lights, and the more a person can do on their bike for their own safety, especially when it comes to lighting, and they still look, the looks and the styling is great. I think is just absolutely awesome because, you see there's so many times. I mean, I had a guy almost took me out on the motorcycle a couple weeks ago. And just because he's flat out not paying attention when I'm literally beside him and he decides he's just going to come into the lane. But you look at it from the other aspect is, we're smaller. So anything you can do to add more safety to a bike to get you to be seen is a win-win.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, all of us have that same fear, the distracted driver, whether it's alongside of us, whether it's the guy behind us when we're sitting at a light, so there's nothing that's 100% that's going to guarantee us.
True.
But, the more we can do to be visible, to be seen. And of course we want to do that, with some style. We don't want to put things on there that are ugly and, stick out like a sore thumb. So if we can do that with some nice styling and some nice clean lines and still get that visibility, that's the way to do it. Make that bike, when the lights aren't on, make them so that you can hardly, even know that they're there. But hey, when you turn that turn signal on or when you hit that brake, have that thing pop out so that driver, knows you're there, knows what lane you're in, knows you're stopping. Right. There's no doubt about it. And we've had so many people come back and tell us stories. Hey, I bought your LED, brake lights or your LED bag lights, and I bought the brake strobe, and people now just stay off my ass. They don't come anywhere near me when I'm braking. They're staying back from me and stuff. And it's nice to hear those stories. It's nice to know that, we're making a difference and people feel safer riding because of our products.
Oh, very true. I know of, one of my dad's best riding buddies. Actually, they're on a trip right now. He has a full set of your, taillight and blinkers on his Harley. And a lot of the guys he was riding with are actually said, they would, ride nighttime and whatnot. They were so bright that he actually took his blinkers and angled them slightly towards the ground just because the guys that he was riding with were saying they were just almost blinding. I mean, but it's a good thing. I mean, at least, they are working at. And it was just kind of comical that, you got other guys like, holy cow, they love the product. And it's like, but dear Lord, they're so bright. So Todd, he's kind of angled them down just a little bit, but he freaking loves them. And it's like you said, you can see them. When you're in a car and, you get the strobe on them and everything going, what's going on in front of you. You might not be paying attention, but those lights are going to get your attention.
Yeah, sometimes it can be a little bit annoying when you're riding in a group of riders when you're not the first one, but they're getting attention. And I love to see pictures of a group of bikes in inclement weather, and you have some stock bikes, and then you have bikes with custom dynamics, and it's raining, it's foggy and stuff, and you see this group, and you can barely make out the other bikes. Then all of a sudden you see this one bike that has custom dynamics, and it's just standing out, even though it's raining, it's foggy out, whatever the conditions are, it's popping out of there. And the other bikes are like, what is there a bike there? What's going on? I can barely see it through all the rain.
That would be an awesome picture. That's very true. I would love to see one of those. Some I'm gonna have to, try to pay attention to more often as, in those types of situations.
Yeah. I mean, those under those conditions is where it really makes the most difference. If you're riding on a nice clear night and stuff, I mean, you can see the difference. But under those conditions where it's extreme weather and stuff, I mean, that's where it really stands out.
Or something like we get a lot of in the Northwest is that fog, especially in the summertime with, you get the hot afternoons. Well, you get early in the morning, you're going to get that fog. It seems to just one of those deals. And that's also another, great point of, your guys' quality of life, especially in those fog situations. Sometimes we'll get it so dense where had some mornings. I drive a commercial truck, and I actually had it on Friday. The speed limit down the highway is 60, and it's a windy road, and I was lucky if I could do 25 because I couldn't see. The fog was so thick. And we'll get that frequently up here in the summer times and even in the fall. And, having that type of lighting which is going to help that person where, somebody might be pushing what speeds of what they should when it comes to that inclement weather, and then all of a sudden, you know, they're gonna you're gonna get their attention basically.
Yeah, yeah. Especially when we know, one thing when you're driving an 18 wheeler and you got a lot of lighting on it, but on a motorcycle where you're such a small target,
Very true.
you need everything that you can get.
So, what was your first bike that you started playing with lighting on that you were riding when you first got into this?
My first was that I started was a super glide.
Oh, okay. What year?
It was a 2002, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yep, 2002. I'm pretty sure. My memory is not failing me yet.
And that's the one that kind of that got all the craze and kind of got you started on this whole adventure.
Yep. Yep.
So,
Yep.
how long did it? Go ahead.
I can't show you, but I've got pictures of it in my office.
So, what are you riding today? Well, now times.
Yeah. My favorite bike is my CVO Street Glide, but we've got the nice part is we've got a lot of bikes here because we need them for product development. So I get my choice of what I want to ride, whether it's the Road Glide, the Street Glide, the CVO Street Glide. So we've got, I think, a total of 7 bikes, but my favorite's the CVO Street Glide.
That's gotta be a rough problem to have. Dang.
Yeah, the rough part is not having the time to actually to ride.
Yeah, I can understand that, especially this time of year, like you're talking about. You got a lot of events going on. You guys are pretty busy when it comes to getting a lot of these motorcycle rallies and events going on, and sure that does take a lot of time out of the summer, and you like to be riding, but you got a company you got to represent and still work.
Yeah, the crew is probably almost 8:30 Eastern time, so the crew's probably in bed. They have a 6 a.m. flight tomorrow morning, so they will be up very early. So our trailer's already out in Sturgis, so our team is flying out tomorrow morning. They will get out there tomorrow afternoon, get set up tomorrow and Tuesday. Our first day that we open at Black Hills is on Wednesday. I will actually be flying out there myself a week from today. So I'm taking the second week. So we'll be out there working for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's like we were talking kind of beforehand, before we started, going to be dealing with that heat, and going to be a warm one for you guys for sure.
Yeah, we're talking beforehand, just looking at the forecast, and what did I say? I think it
Hundreds.
was Wednesday, 105. Let me see. I'll just click off for a second. 105 on Saturday, August 6th. So yeah, going to be a hot one for you guys they're heading out there.
Going to be an oven.
Absolutely.
So at what point in time when you got going with custom dynamics, did you really figure this was going to be your new career, and you decided to dive full head into it?
Yeah, so when we first got started, I was working with Philips Electronics. I had a really good job there. I was the director of technical support, and had 30 engineers working for me, and it was a difficult position I was in, where I loved my day job. Custom dynamics, obviously just starting off wasn't big enough to give up what I had. But after about a year and a half of custom dynamics growing and getting to the point, I left my day job and took the risk of leaving that. And it was a difficult decision. It was I thought a risky decision, because we was still a new company and it was young, and a lot of startups don't make it past the first couple year mark. But the team that I worked for at Philips Electronics was great. I went in, I had talked to my manager, and he knew what I was doing. He wished me the best of luck, and he told me, for any reason that things don't work out, as long as he was there, I had a job to come back to. And and that kind of took a little bit of the pressure off, knowing that, hey, I've got something that I could come back to if things don't work out. But we were very fortunate. Things at Custom Dynamics right from the beginning. We hit the market at the right time. I think we had the right philosophy. It just really took off for us. It grew like wildfire. Every year, we were doubling our business. Trying to get more and more employees. We started out of my house. Within a year and a half, we had our first suite. Within 2.5 years, we had our second suite. And then every year after that, we added another suite. We were up to 4 suites and within a few years. And then we made a decision to go ahead and buy property and start building. I'm not trying to sound arrogant or anything like that, but we were just extremely fortunate that we hit this market at the right time when LEDs were still very new. It was a great combination of putting this technology onto motorcycles. I've always had a very strong passion for customer service. I'm probably a difficult person to work for. I don't tolerate a lot of things. I want every phone call, every email, every day to be answered. I want the customer to be taken care of every single day. So at the end of every day, every phone call here is returned, every email is answered. I'm just very passionate about customer service. I've seen so many companies, and not just in the motorcycle area, but in everywhere. You send an email to, you don't get an answer. I mean, they've got to click here on their website to contact us, and it goes into a black hole. I mean, how do you run a business like that?
I've been dealing with that I don't want to, has nothing to do with the company name, but same thing. I had an issue with a product that I bought. A piece broke. I emailed them 2 weeks ago, and I've never got a single thing back. And it's like, well, this is kind of frustrating, but from what you're talking about when it comes to customer service, getting back to people, that is huge in companies when, there are those companies that are great customer service. And then it's like, the issue I'm having in the past, I've had issues that were great, but for some reason, I don't know, maybe my email just got missed or got spammed. I don't know. So, maybe I have to shoot them another one, but I guess it is what it is.
Yeah. I could never understand that. And I don't know, how some companies, and like I said, it's in all industries and stuff, that customer service is so bad, and how these companies stay in business. But, we try to do our best. We're not perfect, but, I always say, hey, if we make a mistake, let's make it up. But we use tools like Zendesk so that we can track all of our tickets, we can track all of our emails, and do things so that we can try to make sure every question, every customer is taken care of. And I think it's just common sense. It's just basic fundamental things anyone would want to do that had a business. And I don't think it's anything out of the ordinary. I think it's just common sense to do. But I guess unfortunately in the world we live in today, it's not as common as we all would like it to be.
Yeah, I think, especially what you're saying, is when the customer is what is keeping your business going. So, why not, like you guys, you strive for the best customer service you have. You get back to people in a timely manner. Like, you had Chris Venus talking about your guys, also your shipping is phenomenal, packaging, when the customers are, keeping you alive because you have a great product and, they appreciate what you're putting out, your quality and everything you got going on. That's what keeps you in business. So when your customers take care of you, you take care of your customers, and everybody has a good day.
Yeah. It seems simple,
Here's another guy. Dave, you have some of the best customer service people. I dealt with Kevin as a tech, and he was great.
Yeah, Kevin is an absolutely great guy. He's been with us a long time. Very knowledgeable. He used to have his own shop, and he's worked for us for a long time. And he's absolute great guy. He'll be heading out to Sturgis in the morning, and he'll be out there installing.
Nice. Yeah, you got a lot of people chiming in, talk about how your customer service is the best in the motorcycle world.
Yeah,
which it's awesome.
We try to be. I'll never claim that we're perfect. Because we're human, and there's employees, and but I like to say, when we do make a mistake, we do try to make it right. If I ever hear of a mistake, I'll try to personally correct it. And that's all you can do. But and I always tell everyone, if you ever see something that we do wrong, please contact me directly. Give me a chance to make it right.
And I think that's what, when you look at the feedback and, everybody, when you've built that name you guys have and that reputation as a great company, I think that all will stands behind it, and, stands behind the company and what you guys stand for and the quality that you guys put out.
Well, thanks. Yeah, that's what we try to do. And Kevin will FaceTime you. Any of our techs will FaceTime you, because sometimes it's difficult to troubleshoot these things over the phone. So when we can FaceTime you and kind of see what you're dealing with, it makes it easier. And we're here to support you. And if we can make it quicker to resolve your problem, that's better for both of us. And FaceTime is a great tool to help do that.
Yeah, nowadays the technology we got, it can make it nice. I can understand, hard to diagnose something over the phone when you can't visibly see it, and when you can actually see what's going on, it makes a huge difference when it comes to, helping somebody troubleshoot and fix the situation at hand.
Yeah, absolutely. When it comes to solving tech tickets and things like that, tools like that where you can see it and with video, it's makes things so much easier.
I can totally bet.
Yeah. Been working with Todd on an issue. He's been top of it, very personable. Yeah, Todd is our lead tech. He manages the tech department, and he's great to work with. He'll call you back on the weekend, whatever it takes to get it done, as will any of our techs. But we're not just here Monday through Friday from 8 to 5 to solve your problem, because we realize that people have day jobs, and we can't just troubleshoot from 8 to 5. So if we've got to work on it during the weekend, if we got to work on it on night, that's not unusual for us to do at all.
That's awesome. Because exactly how you put it. A lot of everybody, we have jobs. Not everybody works the same hours. So when you got somebody willing to be there, not so much during their normal work hours, but will go the extra mile, I think it's fair to say, and to help customers resolve issues, that's freaking awesome.
Yeah, we actually have we assign one person for sales, and we assign one person for tech every weekend. So we have someone on call every weekend for both sales and for tech, both Saturday and Sunday for every weekend. So if someone sends an email and says, "Hey, I'm looking to buy this. I don't know quite what to buy," they're going to get a response whether it's Saturday or Sunday. And the same with tech. It may not be every tech ticket that gets answered. But we prioritize them. So if someone's actually working on their bike for that weekend, then they'll be the ones that get it. If someone's just doing an inquiry that can wait till Monday, then it can wait. But we do have someone doing both sales and tech every Saturday and Sunday.
Hey, that's cool. Here's a good one. Need custom dynamics helmet lights.
Yeah, we've been asked that before. So that's something we should look into. But we've that's not the first time someone has asked that.
So far this year, what's your probably your best selling product you got going on right now? I know you said the halo lights were, but does it change kind of? Do you see a change yearly of kind of the trending sale item?
Yeah. Our tour pack lights have done very well. We've been out of stock for a little while. We're getting some more in soon, but we kind of underestimated how well they would sell. So the tour pack lights have been very hot. So we've got more of those coming in. We're working on some newer versions of those for next year. That'll be pretty cool. Working on a sequential version of that. So that'll be coming out in probably about a year from now. It's about midsummer of next year. But I would say that's been one of the big ones. We've got a couple other new products that will be coming out soon. We have something that's actually going to work with the front turn signals. Just a little product that you actually hook up to your horn, so that when you hook your horn up, it'll cause those white driving lights to strobe, to alternate and strobe, just to give you a little more front visibility when you're hitting your horn. So we've had some customers ask for that. Yeah, so you can actually choose several different patterns on those, but it's a very simple plug and play module that will work in combination of your horn and your driving lights, just so when you're in that situation, when you're hitting your horn, you'll get some more visibility, not just from an audio perspective, but from a visual perspective too. So it'll cause those front lights to strobe in a very strong pattern to get some more visibility on the bike while your horn is going off.
I like that. That is freaking awesome. And plus, I love the point you put where it's plug and play, which makes it so nice. And I think that is going to be a genius.
Yeah, so that's coming out pretty soon. That one's just about wrapped up. It's been in production for a while. We're probably just looking at like a few more weeks actually on that one.
Dang, that'll be freaking cool.
Yeah. So we just thought just another way. You hit your horn, and it's great, and especially that we have the Pro Beast horns now, which have been really good. They have really taken off for us this year. Very loud. Get just another way to get attention. But now combining that with the front turn signals, it kind of ties everything together.
The visual aspect.
That visual aspect of it too.
I think that's a smart idea. I think that's going to be a hot seller.
Yeah. Hopefully, I like the idea of it, and I think it'll be good. Just because sometimes you hit the horn and you're looking, but now you're going to have that front of that bike, really lit up and really strobing, and again, it's going to strobe in a wig-wag type of way back and forth.
Oh yeah, I could especially. I mean, even in daylight, it's going to get somebody's attention. But dawn or dusk time, or even the evening time when it's dark, you're definitely going to get somebody's attention when they're invading your area or doing something because they're not paying attention. I think that's freaking awesome.
Yeah. So, your horn is kind of your last resort, right?
Right.
When someone's pulling in front of you and stuff, why not give it everything you got?
Yep. Yeah, it's like, how some people like to go to the air horns. Well, now you're going to, even add a little bit more to it. So I think it's a smart move. I like it.
Yeah. So we got that coming. So yeah, we've been, this year's been a challenge, with supply chain issues, as I think everyone knows, with everything, still related from COVID. It has messed up supply chains around the world. I think that's starting to level out a little bit. Semiconductors has been the toughest part. We've seen lead times on semiconductors anywhere from 52 to 99 weeks. That's still a problem. This is why you can't, hard to buy a new car, but I think things are starting to ease up in that area. So I think we're starting to see some relief there. But, this year's just been a challenge, just having inventory, just keeping everything in stock. It's been the biggest challenge in 20 years that I've seen. I've never seen lead times like this before.
Yeah, that's crazy. You say 52 weeks and 99. I mean, that's damn near almost 2 years.
Yeah. So, how do you, when you start to get low on something, usually, normal lead times are, in the 12-week range, and that's where you like to see them. But, how do you forecast out 1 to 2 years? That's tough.
That's difficult. Yeah,
that's tough. Do you order too much? Do you get a lot of excess inventory? You're not ordering enough. I mean, that's a really, really hard one to forecast out, to have a crystal ball that's that good to see what your demand is going to be 1 to 2 years out.
Well, also, the financial aspect of that, you're spending so much money because you buy all this, and then say, the market has an issue. All of a sudden, you spent a great amount of money and it's not where you thought the market was going to be, or vice versa. I mean, that could be, a very interesting dilemma.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing too is, you spend all this money and you get 99% of what you need. And, you're missing this part, and you've spent all the money to get everything else, and this widget is holding you up. And that really hurts, and that's what you see is, it's just one little part on this thing, and you've got everything else, and hey, it's 52 weeks for this, and you see these push outs from these semiconductors companies. Everything's on track. You place the order and they say, oh, you'll have it in 26 weeks. So you get right up to 26 weeks, and then they say, nope, it's going to be 26 more weeks, and you're like, how can you do that to me?
Yeah.
Told me it was 26 weeks, and here we are. We're all ready to roll here, and now you're telling me it'll be 26 more weeks. And so that's the kind of year that we've had, and everyone in the industry has had, and everyone in automotive has had, and those are really tough challenges, and they take so much of your time. In being a smaller company, we've got 35, 36 employees and stuff. You spend so much of your time doing that type of work where you should be doing, more and more product development, but it's hard to do a lot of product development when you're chasing parts, and that's been the challenge this year. Not to say we're coming out with new tour pack, we're coming out with new wigwag. We've got a lot of stuff that we've managed to put in the pipeline, but it's made for a challenging year. But I do think it is getting better.
At least that's good. Like I said, hopefully things are turning around market wise. Stuff's trying to get back to. I don't know. Careers ahead. You never go back to normal. Also, it's going to come back to a new normal. Stuff's going to come back in, but it's never what it was. But it's going to be something new. But we're going to try to get back to how it has been, and hopefully, that turns around sooner than later.
Yeah, and we could probably spend a whole another podcast just talking about the cost of the supply chain and how inflation has done everything, and believe it or not, I think the thing that has been the biggest impact is shipping. Shipping costs have gone up so much.
Well, and I understand that totally. Being a commercial truck driver, when companies got to pay $6.50 a gallon for diesel. Unfortunately, it's going to trickle down to, the consumer and the customer is going to end up having to fork those surcharges because they're going to trickle downhill. And that's what's killing a lot of people.
Yep, and there's your root cause right there is the cost of fuel, and that's behind so much of this, and that's just driving everything, across the board.
Yep, very true.
Yep. But like I said, we could probably spend another hour just talking about that.
Yep. I understand that one totally. And it's affects a lot of stuff across the board from everything.
Yeah.
But like I said, boy, we could go on for hours with that one.
Yeah. We've tried our best this year to keep our costs in line and not raise our prices. So just be creative in trying to hold the line on things, and we've done pretty well doing that. Some areas you can't swallow it anymore, but we've tried to do it as much as we can.
Oh, Brian, everybody loves this joke. I live up on the northwest corner of Washington in a little town called Port Angeles, and they started this joke. It's had to have been 4 or 5 months ago that I live in Seattle. And I get messages from so many people, little sarcastic comments about being from Seattle, and it won't die. It's the joke that just keeps on living and living. Every day gets a new life.
Yeah. Well, we've got the amber ones now too, so they really cut through the fog.
There we go. I'm gonna have to check into those. But no, man, this has been a lot of fun. So do you, actually, is there any, I don't know if you can let the, say cat out of the bag, but you guys got any cool products besides, you talked about the horn lights and whatnot, but anything else that's going to kind of shake the market up that you guys got in the works that you can share maybe?
Well, there's several ones that I can't share. I mentioned the Tour Pack light, so we are coming out with a sequential version of that. Is
that the inside light that goes on the inside, or is that the outside?
That is. Hold on one second here. I've got one close by. This is just a prototype, but it's this Tour Pack light, so it's
Oh, okay.
The outside one. This OEM replacement one. But we've got the sequential version of that that's we've actually completed the design on, and that version will be pretty cool in that one version you can make it standard, or you can make it sequential, all in one unit. So you can choose how you want it to work. Let me just say that. So there won't be a 2 different part number. So if you decide one day you want it standard, you can do that. The next day you want it sequential, you can do that.
Nice.
Yeah. So we'll leave it at that. We won't let too much more out other than that. But you can, you'll have the option on how you want it to function.
Hey, that's cool. I like it.
Yeah. So we're looking forward to that product. We've had a lot of requests for the sequential version of that. So we've been working on that for a while.
Nice. Well, thanks for taking time out of your weekend, Dave, and come down. I know you guys got a lot going on. You're getting ready for, Sturgis, the big motorcycle mecca that I know you guys are going to be pretty busy with that, and a lot of guys going. But, I greatly appreciate your time and, coming to hang out.
Well, thanks, Denver. I appreciate you having me on. It's been a lot of fun.
It has been. So now everybody can follow along with me. You guys, basically, it's Custom Dynamics across the board everywhere when it comes to all your social media for, little snippets and infos and pictures and product replacement ideas and everything you got going on.
Yeah. So websites, customdynamics.com. We've got Facebook, Instagram, everything. And let me just give out my email. Like I said earlier, if anyone ever has an issue, feel free to contact me. Mine's real easy. It's just sales@customdynamics.com, and that will go directly to me. So if you ever need to reach me directly, there's a way you can get to me.
Awesome. Hey, thank you so much. Been great. Also, guys, don't forget, we got another Milepost 72 coming up. We're going to bring back Sparks as we kind of go through part 2 of his Hoka journey. So I wanted to kind of dive into, packing and preparing and, more of the technical side of his riding. And then also, August 20th, we got the Monsters Over Mountain Ride. I got myself, Brad Columbus from Crash Inc. We got Frank Orlando, watch out for us. Michael Nielsen's Too Ill to Survive coming up. And a few other guys that are going to be coming to ride the Monsters Over Mountains ride. We're going to be raising money for Mile Monsters as they help to support these families, these boys that are facing Duchenne's muscular dystrophy, which right now is a 100% fatal disease. And Mile Monsters likes to help these boys live the best life they can, which unfortunately is being cut short. So if you guys can go over to the V-Twin Life on Facebook, that fundraiser is pinned at the top. If you want to make a donation, even share the post. Everything, as we get more exposure for it, everything helps. If you want to donate that, morning cup of coffee, every dollar, every penny helps these boys, and just get that event out there, and let's help raise awareness for this disease. And hopefully someday we will find a cure for Duchenne's muscular dystrophy, or is what they like to call it, DMD for short. But that's all we got for tonight. Dave, thank you so much. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. This has been a great Milepost, and it's always fun. I enjoy this stuff so much, meeting all these guys from within our community and, these companies and putting a face to the name, basically like Custom Dynamics. We got Dave here talking about it, and it's really cool to, hear the stuff from the people that design it and make it and what they got going on.
Thanks again for having us.
Hey, thank you guys. Hey, ride safe, have fun. Catch you guys in the open road.